Which is your favourite? We take a tour around the capital's museums with a man who visited 44 of them in a single day. Plus, now from one record to another now, and here's a challenge for you. How many museums can you name in London? And more to the point, how many of you actually visited? Because my next guest has set a new world record for the most museums visited in 24 hours. And they were all here in the capital. Ben Melham joins me now. Thank you, Ben. And congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be a world record holder?
It's wonderful. It was a challenge that we set at the beginning of last year. My children got the Guinness Book of World Records. They set a challenge, Daddy. We had a conversation about beating a world record and we came up with this one and we were able to do it.
So your children were behind this, they were driving it? They
were challenging me all the way through. They were the inspiration for doing this and they even supported me on the day to make sure that I could complete the challenge as well.
Right, and now, so how you did it, because I understand there are 200 museums in London. How many did you get to?
So we managed to get to 42 in the day. It had to be when the museums were open to the public. So we actually did it between about 9 and 7 o'clock. And as you say, London is one of the world's great museum cities. We've got over 200 museums. So even 42 was only scratching the surface of the fantastic museums that we have to get to.
Yeah, and how did you do it? Because presumably you weren't sort of factoring in being stuck on the district line. You had to get around very, very fast.
Yeah, so one of the rules was it had to be human powered. So we were on foot and kick scooter for most of the time. So we actually covered 42 kilometres in the day between all of the museums, which was a task in itself.
Right, and did you have any particular favourites? I mean, presumably you had to rush around, so you didn't get to see a huge amount.
We didn't get to stop many of them, but there are so many fantastic museums. I mean, some of the ones I'd call out, the Bank of England Museum is a free museum where you can hold a gold bar worth up to £800,000. The Natural History Museum has always been a favourite of mine since I've been a child. The model of the blue whale, the 28-metre long model, is something that inspired awe in me as a kid and one of the reasons I got interested in museums. And
I understand you have a favourite museum, though, that wasn't one of those ones. Is that from near where you're from?
Yes.
Surrey?
Yep. So Brooklands Museum in Surrey, it's absolutely fantastic. It's the kind of birthplace of kind of motorsport in the UK. They have a fantastic aviation collection, motor collection. It's just down the road from me. And well, the wonderful thing about, I think, particularly in London and in the whole of the South East, is we have so many museums that are just within touching distance of everyone. So whatever you're interested in, whatever museum, whatever topic, you're going to find a museum that's going to be of interest to you.
And you mentioned a really key word earlier, which was free, because that's the other thing. If you're going to go round that many in one day, particularly, that could get very expensive if you were paying lots of entry prices. So did you factor that in as well?
Yeah, no, we had to factor that in. So there are a number of free museums. We're incredibly lucky in the capital to have so many free museums to go to. But equally, there are a number that are paid and well worth the money as well, because it's supporting the fantastic work that those museums do as well.
And let's say, I mean, we are really spoilt for choice, aren't we? I mean, if there's someone watching this who thinks, I don't think museums are for me, what would you say to them?
You're going to find a museum and a story, whatever you're interested in. And what I say is, I was in these museums for a very short period of time because we had the world record. But if you only want to be in a museum for a few moments, to go to the cafe to see one thing, that's absolutely fine. There's spaces for everybody to go in and enjoy.
And what did your kids think? You mentioned they were the driving force. I mean, do they love a museum? Because that's the other thing. Sometimes getting your children into it is a different thing.
They get taken to a lot of museums. I've got a few rules there. One is that you don't touch, you don't run, but ultimately you've got to enjoy it. And we generally spend the time that the children want to spend in the museum. I want them to grow up learning to love museums as I do. And I think part of that is not forcing the museum experience on them if it's not something that they don't want to do.
Yeah, interesting. And are there any more that you want to? Is there any more on your list? I mean, are there many you're going to go back to, I suppose, having sped round them all?
So we have been given approval to go for a new record, which is the most museums in 1 year. So we're also trying to see how many we can get to in a year, and we're hoping to take that, because it's a Guinness World Record, to take that internationally as well. So I'm going to be going to other countries, but hopefully ticking off all the other London museums that I didn't get to in the one-day challenge.
Fantastic. I will keep us posted. Anyway, thank you very much, Ben. Thank you.